Hello, my lovelies. Well, today I'm going to be recording this for the second time because unfortunately the files that I did upload from the past 3 days have sort of vanished. So I will be posting the picture of the hat I made before. And I will be now starting again the all-weathers hat, but before then there's a few things that you will need. You will need a crochet hook, preferably in 2 sizes. So I'm going to have a 4 and then maybe a 3.5. I haven't decided yet. I'll see as I go along. But anyway, a bigger one and a smaller one. You'll need a tape measure. You'll need scissors. And a tapestry needle for sewing up later. And of course you will need your wool. Sorry for the noise. I am going to be using today the ice yarns, and so I'll be using double, so I'm going to use my yarn double. I'll just got the sleeve here from the 2 balls that I've already taken out so that you can see this properly. So it says here this is 100 grams, 360 meters. And this is for needle size 4 to 4.5 millimeters, or US 6 to 7. And it's a light yarn, I think it says light, and well, a 3, okay? So that's the yarn I am using. And you will also need, as a preparation, you will need a piece of paper, a pencil or pen, and a calculator. Okay, so let's get to the prep work first. First of all, the most important thing is to decide on what stitch you're going to be using. And you see here I have made with a bit of leftover yarn of the same kind that I'm using. I have decided to do this hat in a double crochet, and I have done a sample that measures from the middle 5 centimeters, that's 2 inches. Okay, so why is that important? For a few things. A, you can guess your gauge. B, it gives you an indication of what the texture will look like. And I did this in single, as you can see, and that is why I decided I will actually need this to be double, because I need this a bit more dense, but did not want to go down to a half double crochet or a single crochet. So I like the texture of the double crochet, so I've decided I'm just going to take a double yarn. Right, so the other reason is not only for the looks, you can now measure your gauge to see if it compares with what I maybe will be using. So I have my notes here, and if you excuse me, I'll be reading from my notes. Oh, I'm sorry, that is my computer. Let me just switch the sound off the computer before it gives me a whole load of alarms that we don't want to be hearing. Okay, so, right. So now this is important also for the hat size. This is where the tape measure comes in. Okay, what you need to do is you need to measure the circumference of your head, okay? So, and note that down. if you're wearing, like me, if you've got a lot of hair and you wear your hair in a bun, then do a measurement of without the bun and with the bun if you're going to be putting the hat over the bun, all right? Wherever, yeah, and if you put your bun on the top of your head, like many do these days, then you have to consider that in the height of the hat. Right, so I have here a few notes, and I think I will post some of those at the end of the video or in the information box, most probably in the information box. So as this is a formula that I'm going to be showing, I can only give you sort of ideas of sizing. Okay, so I will start at a teenager size hat. Okay, generally the hat height is 9 to 10 inches, and the head circumference of that teenager is between 20 and 22 inches. For an adult woman, the hat height is also 9 to 10 inches, and the head circumference around 21.5 inches to 22.5 inches. A man's hat size is also the hat height is 9 to 10 inches, so the same sort of height, but the head circumference is between 23 and 24 inches. So now I'm going to just show you on this little sample here. Let's say this is the crown of your hat, just as an example. I know it isn't, okay? So what you need to know is you need to have from this end to that end, you need to know, hang on, I didn't flatten this out properly. Don't forget that the hat will also stretch, so it can be about up to half an inch to maximum an inch tighter than you need in the end. So, right, so here we go, we've got the whole size. So this is the diameter, all right? If you go across the diameter, this should be the total of your crown, okay? And for measuring, you maybe also want to know half of that, okay? Like that, because you will also need from the midpoint, and then you need to add your height on, okay? So these are the measurements you will need to know. So what is the formula? Okay, I will show you this on my piece of paper, and excuse my handwriting, it is not exactly the best, all right? Another thing why you do a sample beforehand is what you can do is you can also measure the length of yarn, or an approximate, not exactly, because an approximate length of yarn you will need, how much yarn you will need or wool you will need. Okay, if you measure across an inch and you unravel all, yeah, then, and you measure that, then mine gave me, what was it? That 1 inch of crochet gave me 16 inches of yarn, which is 2.5 centimeters of crochet gave me 40 centimeters of yarn. So now I know more or less how many balls of wool I will need. So I have calculated that for my crown, and I'll get to how I measured that. For my crown, I will need 6 inches. Okay, the whole of the crown is 6 inches. So all of this is 6 inches. Then the height of my hat, I need another 4 inches. I'm guessing, this is just guesswork, yes, I will need about 2 inches of ribbing, and I will need 3 inches of brim, as my hat is going to come with the brim. So that makes in total 15 inches times the yarn I needed for that 1 inch, which was 16, and that makes it to 380 yards, or in meters, 255 meters. Now this ball of yarn is actually 360 meters. 360 meters, so that should be fine. I'm hoping we will see at the end whether I did my calculation wrong, as this is only estimates. That is why I have actually 4 balls here, just in case, and I've still got my little bit left over. But we will see how accurate that is in the end. So let me just see. Oh yes, gauge. Okay, so as I said, the gauge here, you measure, how do you measure your gauge? You measure from the midpoint as to how many inches you've done. These are 2 inches. Okay, this is 2 inches of crochet I have done here. Okay, so then you note how many rounds you did in inches, and I have here plus the circle 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds. 4 rounds of double crochet make 2 inches. So now you can also guess how many rounds you will need once you've done 2 inches, how many rounds you will need to complete your work as to compared to mine as we go along. I hope I'm not confusing you too much. So let's just get back to the hat size measurement so that it fits to every person. My little piece of paper. Okay, so as I said, my gauge, I did 2 rows, in 1 inch is 2 rows of double crochet, so my gauge is approximately 10 rows for 6 inches. I will need 6 inches. How did I get to that 6 inches? Well, I measured my head circumference, okay, round the head, to 54 centimeters with my bun, or that is 21 inches. No bun, it was 51 centimeters or 20 inches. Right, so my formula here now is 54 or inches, it doesn't matter which you take, divided by 3.14, yeah, 3.14 is 17.197, or in inches 6.687. Okay, now with no bun it was 51 or 20 inches divided by 3.14 equals in centimeters 16.242, excuse me, or 6.369. Now you can see here the inches are pretty similar. Now I want to have, I know this will stretch, so what I thought is I'll take sort of in the middle. I'll take a measurement sort of in the middle so I can actually round down. So I thought this is above 16 and this is a little bit above 17, so somewhere in the middle. I can round it to 16 centimeters diameter. Where's my sample? So this complete thing is 16 centimeters. This, okay, here we go. This complete across is supposed to be, for me, for the crown, 16 centimeters. If you measure across like this is supposed to be 16 centimeters or 6 inches. Okay, which means half of that is 8 centimeters or 3 inches. Okay, that should be for my crown. Okay, so that's what I wrote down here. That is my head measurement. Then plus the height and plus the other bits that I'm going to be adding on. So that is the formula as to how to really measure out what it is for you. I did give you beforehand, as I said, that the general idea of the hat height and the head circumferences. Now, I have found out that the minimum measurement for the hat height, and that is measured from the mid of your work right down to the tip of your ear, so down from the tip of your head to the tip of your ear, should be actually a minimum of 7 inches. Now, I have given you 9 inches, 9 to 10 inches as a measurement for teenagers to adults. Because that'll just give you that extra warmth over the ears. But the general height is that. Then you add your ribbing. Okay, so 7 is the absolute minimum. Right, let me see. Have I missed anything out? No, I have just worked out that I will need another 4 inches height hat for myself, more or less, but we will try that on anyway. So that's enough waffle for the minute. I can now put my, oh, and you will need a stitch marker. Sorry, you will also need a stitch marker. And I'll be taking this one out, so I'll be using this green stitch marker. So we can now put the sample aside and finish with the general waffle of prep work. Right, and let me just blow my nose and get back to you after I've blown my nose and had a sip of water.